Size doesn't matter, and that's why I can easily keep up with a litre bike on my Suzuki PV50, I mean EPO, with an RM80 engine. You see, when I'm not too busy asking my mate to stand there with my camera so I can do flybys in the countryside, I'm busy stripping down and fixing the thing. Or listening to strangers telling me how the ST70 they used to own isn't a DAX.
There's no one like that. It's a Honda ST70.
Oh yeah, the old DAXes.
Sorry?
The old DAX. ST70?
Yeah, it's like the DAX, but my brother modified it.
Wait, what? That's why in this video I'm going to show you exactly how much oil I got on my kitchen floor just so I could be in the warmth filming my repairs. So if you watch my Suzuki PV50 build video, you will know that I had a few teething issues that needed sorting. The first thing we got to do is sort the exhaust out. As you can see, it's directly facing the shock and covering it in oil, which isn't ideal. It also didn't help I got the premix ratio wrong, as it's completely covered the bike. The first thing I do is take a picture for the fabricator so we can get a pipe welded onto the end can, with the idea of it coming out at an angle so it misses the rear shock. You can also see it's leaking at the clamp. To keep things on the safe side, I mark out the end can with a marker pen so we know which direction the pipe's got to follow. It's probably going to want to come out like this angle at about 50 millimeters. Now with measurements and photos taken, I can whip off the end can. The state of that. Can't take it to the fabricator like this. Let's give it a little wipe down. Look, you can see there's the mark. That's the angle I want it to come out at. Right, now we are off to the fabricator to see what he can do with this, because I can't weld, I don't have the equipment, so let's find out. So I've just had this pipe welded on. The first company I went to wanted to charge me £80 and they were proper jobs worths. Found this guy, charged me £10. I tipped him a tenner, so it cost me 20. Look at that. On my return, I whipped off the header pipe and gave it a good clean. I rubbed it down with some wire wool and coated it in oil as it started to get surface rust from being in my cold garage. Now I'm removing the rear shock, as this also needs to go outside for a session of brake cleaner. And surprisingly enough, it came out like new again. It seems to have got in everywhere, all underneath the swing arm, around the wheel, and even on the tyre. Look at it. Now with the exhaust all clean and ready to go, I've got some exhaust paste to seal the joints on the manifold adapter and the end can. With the end can all sealed up nicely, I bolt up the clamp. Now a little bit to seal the manifold adapter. Look at that, I should have been a plasterer by trade. After bolting the nice clean shock back on, I give the bike a visual inspection and take a look at that. It's a masterpiece, misses the shock by miles. Right, so I've just noticed an oil drip, which isn't good. So I'm gonna have to take a quick look at that as well. More problems than I expected. Let's get the ignition cover off. By the way, if you haven't got a JIS screwdriver, I highly recommend one. I'll leave a link in the description. So upon further investigation, the oil drip seems to be coming from the sprocket seal behind here. We'll take this off and just see what's happening. It dawned on me that when I originally fitted the sprocket, it was right at the end of the shaft, and I remember thinking at the time that it wasn't far back enough. So in turn I over tightened it, not realising the actual problem was the length of the spacer. It was 2mm too long compared to the original one. By doing this, it put too much pressure on the O-ring, causing it to perish, then leak oil out of the seal. I couldn't refit the old spacer as it was really rusty and not smooth enough. So the quickest option was to get the new one milled down by 2mm, and now it's perfect. Before I go any further, I need to drop the oil from the engine to replace the slipping clutch that I discovered on the first ride. In the meantime, I refit the sprocket with a new O-ring. That's loads better now, because before this was sitting at the edge of the shaft, so that extra 2mm has made a big difference. Okay, so now I can put the chain back on, followed by the ignition cover. I'm going to take a little bit of slack off of the chain. Make sure both of the lines on each side match up. Just tighten this nut. Okay, so now onto the clutch. We've got some new drive plates, some springs and some classic engine oil. Let's start by taking off the clutch cable. Always put your bits back where you found them. Let's take off the kickstart lever. Next thing I'm going to do is lower the footrest, so I'm going to take this bolt out either side. Put a tray down ready to catch any oil spill. I'll take all of these screws out. So that's how I position the screws, if that makes sense. 4 on the top of the case, and then you've got the 5 on the bottom. Be careful of the gasket. This is why I took bolts out of the footrest. So look, now I can lift the case off. Hope that makes sense. Nice and easy. Now before I start changing any of these clutch plates, I want to make sure the new ones that I've bought are actually going to fit, because before I start soaking these in oil, if they don't fit, I'm going to have to take them back. Oh, look at these. Very, very nice. What I'm going to do as well, I'm going to measure the thickness so we've got some sort of idea on the difference between the worn ones and these. Pretty certain these are going to fit. Let's have a look. Yes. Got here 2.9, and then let's check one of the old ones, 2.7. I've just checked my manual and it says it should be between 2.9 and 3.1, but the service limit is 2.6. What we'll do, we'll soak everything in here, because we don't want to be putting them in dry. That should do the job. We'll let them rest. Right, we start putting the clutch plates back in now. They're all soaked in. One by one. Sliding in, lovely. This one's nicely soaked as well. Brilliant. So that's on. I'm just put this back on as well. Good stuff. Now I've got some nice new springs as well. From EBC, so we'll chuck these in. Heavy duty, evidently. Ended up with one extra. I've never seen this in my life. For packaging purposes, this kit may include one or more springs than required. Discard the extras. Make sure there's about 4 mil of play there. That looks sufficient. Last but not least, top it up with oil. Takes, I think it's 700 millilitres. Brilliant stuff. Giving the pipe a nice bit of oil. Perfect. So it is time to take it for a ride and see what happens. We're going to get the right mix this time. 250 millilitres we need, because there's 5 litres in this tank. Look at the colour of that, beautiful. Now it runs a lot better. No more slipping clutch. Or 2-stroke oil spitting over the rear of the bike. I'll let the person next to me have that. You see the lane behind the bikes? Well, here's a video of me riding my 2-stroke American Go-Ped down there back in 2006. Enjoy.